It's not about the number of members. It's about that finds its own level. Our job is not to create more members, but more realtors, more real estate professionals keep getting licensed and come into the business. It's important for us to focus on the member and what they need to be successful. And it's products and tools and services and education and information and resources. And I have to hire the absolute best people on my team. You know, they say, hire people smarter than you. It takes something really unusual to explode. And it was the pandemic. When the market entirely shut down, nobody knew what was going to happen. What a lot of people don't know is that at the very beginning of the pandemic, our new chief legal counsel and our advocacy team researched all of the data, and we sent out to our members the fact that real estate professionals were considered essential.
Welcome to the Top Real Estate Influencers podcast with your host, Mario Hurley, and myself, Alex Montalenti. Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing the CEO of the Miami Association of Realtors. Mario and I are in Miami. I met you years ago through Ines at an event, and you actually lived in the building right next door to me, which was interesting. And I've just watched you evolve and grow and expand the presence of Miami Association of Realtors worldwide. And we wanted to bring you on here to represent Miami and to talk about that whole experience. Because I mean, I've watched, we all know Miami's developed, but you're at the front of expanding Miami real estate for the world. And so we're honored to have you on here.
Thank you so much, Alex and Mario. I'm pleased to be here. And it's my favorite subject, Miami and Miami Realtors.
Awesome.
Perfect. And I think the best way to start this is you are, such a huge source of information about what agents need to be focusing on. Would you like to share with us what are the latest updates? What are the latest things that agents should know about right now?
Well, obviously right now with the market, it's incredibly important that they stay on top of the market conditions, the stats, and the data. And we make it really easy for them because we have resources every month when the stats come out, the latest data. We've got it online, news releases, and charts and graphs and in video and social media that they can post. And that's really important because then it's shareable. And so we don't want to be the source for the consumers. We want the members to be the source for the consumers. So all they have to do is take and share the information that they provide, and then they're the trusted source, which is exactly what we want. Just a few months ago, we actually hired our first chief economist. She used to work with the National Association of Realtors for about 10 years. And we're happy to have her with us now, along with my VP of Communications and Research. And then we have our member and our leader resources. And so they provide more and more information for our members all the time. And the media is always contacting us, but we really want our members to have all of that information. So if that's not enough, what they also need to know are the latest laws and regulations at all levels. I know it's not exciting, but in our 3-county area, we have like 80 municipalities, which gives us 80 opportunities for them to change things in the real estate business. And so we have to stay on top of all of those so that we can provide that information to our members. We inform, we educate, we provide the resources for them if changes need to be made in forms so that they actually have that included. We do that as well. Just as the pandemic started, my smartest move ever was to hire our first chief legal counsel. And so she's been with us through the entire time, and she's an incredible resource for the members. So what do the members need to know? Unfortunately, they need to know everything.
Unfortunately,
or know where to find everything.
So just go to the website, or is there a newsletter, or is there a specific feed that they need to follow?
We send the information out. We also send it out by social media, so it makes it very easy for the members to share. We have PhotoFi for the members, and we post social media postable items in there. So it's very easy for them to sign up for PhotoFi through Miami Realtors. They can go in and choose whatever they want and instantly post it on their social media. And it works out beautifully for all of that. We also have all of the information on our website, of course.
Yeah, I'm actually following the Miami Realtors. I just brought it up here to see if I was following it. So
Good.
that I think that's a great resource on Instagram. Is the Miami Realtors is the name of the handle. And I do see a lot of data on here about Miami market. So that's huge.
So we'd love to know more about you. I mean, you've been around for a while now. You show up at all the most important events happening, but tell us a little bit your story. Like, who did you learn from? Who was your influence?
Well, I've been in Miami for 30 years. And so it's been an incredible opportunity to be able to come to a marketplace like Miami and an association that had such a great foundation to be able to jump in and grow the market, and the leadership here has been amazing. Sometimes you talk about who's influenced me or other leaders who they learned from. And I believe in mentorship. Unfortunately, I found it too late to help me a whole lot, but I do believe strongly in it. And I've learned from so many people. There's really not just one or two. For years, I've learned and continued to learn from other professionals and speakers and leaders. And I really listen to things that other people say and do really well, because that helps me to not only improve my business as the CEO of Miami Realtors, but also we grow leaders. And so it's important for us to be able to work with all of our leaders and our professionals to be able to grow as well. And then every now and then there's something that I see that is a wonderful reminder of what not to do. So it's a learning experience either way.
Wow.
How did you get involved in real estate? How did that path show up?
Well, that was interesting because that's where I was with a small association. The first time that I got involved with the realtor organization is I was with a small association in St. Joseph, Missouri. And I was the youngest of four, but started in that real estate organization there. And we had, are you ready for this? 350 members. We represented 9 counties in northwestern Missouri. But the fun thing was that they let me try anything that I wanted to try. And there was that level of trust and confidence that it was all going to be okay. And it was. And so that gave me a great opportunity to try new things and to figure out how to be able to multiply that. And I started writing and speaking at the national level and for state associations and talking to them about how to do those same kind of things. Somewhere along the way, we set a goal of allowing our son to graduate from high school in that amazing 80,000 population city where our house was Party Central. As it turned out, just as he was going into his senior year, I started looking, and I was the keynote speaker for a leadership conference that the National Association did in Honolulu, Hawaii. And that's when they filled the room with 1,500 presidents-elects and AEs, and I was the keynote speaker. So I believe in speaker opportunities and how important they can be, because the president, the chairman of the board of the Miami Realtors, came up to me afterwards, and they had run out of my book that I had provided for everybody. And so that gave me a great entree to be able to talk to him. And when he found out that I might be interested in Miami, he immediately called the headhunter. So here we are, accepted the job before our son graduated from high school. And when I came here, we had 5,000 members. And now we're 56,000 primary and over 60,000 total members.
It's crazy.
Yay.
That's some growth.
It is.
And we're not done. Sounds like you're just picking up pace.
It's not about the number of members. It's about that finds its own level, so our job is not to create more members, but more realtors, more real estate professionals keep getting licensed and come into the business. Of course, there's turnover, but surprisingly, there isn't as much churn in Miami as there is in a lot of other major markets, which is very unusual. But it's important for us to focus on the member and what they need to be successful. And it's products and tools and services and education and information and resources. And I have to hire the absolute best people on my team. You know, they say, hire people smarter than you. And so that's what I always try and do. And so we have a major team of professionals who are providing the best for the members. And so growth comes along with that, just because it's a very low dues package for a huge benefit and services package. So we don't try and grow. We try and grow with regard to services for the members, and the rest of it will take care of itself.
Clear. So what about all the new agents? What would you say is the recipe for them to 10x their business?
Well, one of the things that we do is we provide over 4,000 seminars a year. And most people kind of can't wrap their arms around that. But what we have is seminars on new technology, existing technology. It's on the legal aspects they need to know. It's on tips for how to do better in your business, how to do any number of things. First thing we did during the pandemic was all about everything virtual. And so we rolled those out like almost immediately, and some new products and services that were related to that. And so we also offer over 200 marketing tools and services that are available to the members, and at least some level, if not the entire thing, like RealGrader, is provided to the members as part of their membership benefit of being with us. And so our education programs, our marketing tools, all of those services, there is no reason that our members, if they want to, can't be successful. Even the new ones coming into the business, there isn't anywhere that they can get this level of support and services. We also have 3 full-time trainers and 5 full-time outreach people. And the outreach people also do training. And so we'll go to brokers' offices if they have enough people who will come into that office. We're still doing some things virtually for people who are just really busy during the normal times. We also record almost all of our seminars and make them available on MiamiRealtorsLive.com. And that's at no cost to our members. They can go in and view them whenever they want to. So our job is to provide all of the tools and services and try and help to make sure that they know they're available and can take advantage of them. But you add that onto whatever the services are that our companies can provide to them. A lot of companies actually add some of our tools and products and services in with their own package because they've got everything that they offer. And then they have everything that the member gets by being a member of ours. So it's really a great package.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. That's a great combination. I mean, with that amount of education and resources and tools, any broker in Miami should really be leveraging that as well to all the agents, because I mean, you're providing unlimited resources of education and tools. I mean, I've logged in to see what it looks like, and I mean, there's so many areas where you can go and get free tools.
Somebody asked us, a few years ago, we have 3 tax programs, and they said, why do you have 3 tax programs? And I said, because we can. But the serious answer to that is because there are different strokes for different folks. And so some people may like the IMAP. You go in quickly, you get a 1-page summary CMA that you can work with a buyer who just give me the bottom line kind of thing. We have RealList that will print out, 40 pages of beautiful charts and graphs and everything. We have RPR that will give them, lengthy reports. And what we actually find is that most of our members use one or all of them. They use them for different purposes and different buyers or investors. And so that's why Miami will take a look at products and services out there, and will sometimes even choose ones that seem like they're duplications. And we have the ability with our numbers and our resources to be able to do that, where some associations just stick with we provide one and that's enough. Enough is not enough for us.
I like it.
It's the way to do it.
One of the other things we talked about, was I mentioned a very affordable dues package. And so actually it's hard to believe, but we just had a 2.5-hour meeting yesterday with the team, because it's time to prepare for the next dues billing. It goes out the first week in May. And that reminded me of the package that we offer to all of the members. So this is pretty cool. We send them the dues bill, and if they pay on time, they get $75 cash off of the bill right off the top. They also get $75 in education credits, and most of our seminars are free, but if they're not, they're usually like $15 or something. And so they could get 5 seminars. We give them 2 NAR designation courses. So we're growing to a point where we're probably going to have more designees certified than any other association in the United States, because those designation courses are not inexpensive. Why did we add that on? Why is education add-on such an important one to us? Because we want no barriers for them. We want them, and we don't care what they take advantage of. They choose. With 4,000, there's a lot to choose from, and they're obviously not all in the same month. But Letty, who is our Chief of Innovative Education, just ran some numbers and told me yesterday that on that $75 education credit, we had 36,000 members take advantage of that, and they saved $10 million, even at these little education dollar amounts. $10 million in education, in addition to the free ones that we're giving to the members. And so that's the kind of stuff that gets us excited. That's what helps set us apart from anybody else.
Yeah, there's so much value there.
Yeah.
I appreciate that very much. And of course, as a CEO, you have a vision. You know where this is going. Would you share with us what would be like your bird's eye view for what's happening and what's ahead?
Well, obviously it's a changing market. Miami is still coming out way ahead based on so many of the articles that are coming out. There's the East Coast, particularly Miami, that is an exception to the rule of what's going on. That's one of the more recent ones I've seen come out in 2 or 3 different ways. But what's happening is a market finding its own level after 2 years of the absolute highest sales ever in our entire history. And that's not sustainable. You can't continue to break those kinds of records with 35 and 45% increases year over year. That just isn't possible. Fun and productive and profitable, but not sustainable. And so basically what's happening is our members are doing what they do best. They help buyers and investors buy, they help sellers to sell, but it's a moving target. And it depends on price range, area that they're in, what the motivations are for those buyers and investors. Not every year can be a record, and especially not the huge records that we've experienced, but even a normalized Miami market is a really strong one. That's what we're looking at.
So would you say then we're trying to develop a pace, something that's more steady, not so explosive? So were to rephrase that?
Yeah, it takes something really unusual to explode, and it was the pandemic. And when the market entirely shut down, in July and August and September, nobody knew what was going to happen. But then all of a sudden it started coming back. One of the things, and the governor has been credited a lot with opening up Florida. But what a lot of people don't know is that at the very beginning of the pandemic, our new chief legal counsel and our advocacy team researched all of the data, and we sent out to our members the fact that real estate professionals were considered essential in Miami-Dade County. That didn't help Broward or Palm Beach or the rest of Florida. But we sent out to our members, you can do business. You're essential. And that was a huge win because the rest of the state wasn't in that situation. So not too long after that, then the governor stepped in and then everybody could start doing business. We also, condos are such a huge part of our market. And some of these condo associations took it on their own to say that realtors could not come in and show properties. And so my team got with it again and identified how to counter that so that as long as the owner is requesting you to come in, the condo associations could not keep us out. And so we put out that information. So it's it's just an environment of, we have to step in no matter what is happening in the market and figure out, how do we help? What do we change? What do we need to fix? And so we'll continue to do that.
It's so interesting. I don't think a lot of people know that, like behind the scenes, your organization and legal counsels are looking at how to keep people basically employed, right? Like how to keep them running so that they can keep running their real estate business. Because something like COVID, in a lot of states and counties, people got shut down completely. I know Long Island, New York, we had people that were, I can't do anything right now. But Miami kept moving. That's huge.
Yeah.
So tell us about technology, because Miami is huge when it comes to technology.
Well, technology, Miami's again in a unique position, Miami Realtors, to offer the best and the latest in real estate technology like yours when we found you, and have been happy to promote RealGrader and your services and have you with us at the Big Rock the Market and the other events that we do. The members love you, they love the service, and that makes us happy. And so that's the kind of thing that we're always looking for. We're known for fast action and also for coaching and counseling the vendors and helping them to make their products and services then better. So there are even other associations and other vendors that refer people to Miami. And they're always amazed at how different it is to work with us than it is a normal association where you have to go through presentations and committees and more presentations and more committees. And in Miami, if we look at it and it makes sense and we can afford it, and we think the members will vote with their feet or their fingers and take advantage of it, our leadership authorized me 27 years ago to go for it. And so we've been doing this for 27 years and we have a great reputation for working with vendors. And in doing so, we get to provide absolutely the best to our members, and often at a stage where they're still making changes, they're still building and enhancing so we can have an influence on it. Before this started, we were talking about the NAR REACH program. And so we have Liz Sturrock, who used to be with NAR, in charge of their technology, and we hired her about 4 years ago. And she's still been very involved with the REACH program over all of this time. We have Inez Hedges Garcia, who is our current chairman of the board, who has been a REACH mentor for many years and a leader in the whole technology industry and finding new technology. We also have Jennifer Woolman, who is a REACH mentor. So we're very involved and ingrained, if you will, in the REACH program. And we were one of 4 organizations nationwide to start our own local REACH program. And we have some programs that are currently being readied for launch in our market that I can't tell you about yet, but will be coming very soon that we're working on. We have so many member favorite programs like yours and Agent 3000. And different than many commercial associations, we've just recently launched a whole suite of commercial products and syndication, which has been a huge hit. Miami is also known for international. And so international exposure for our products and our services and anything international that connects our members is obviously very hot. The latest hot new thing we didn't develop, but we're one of the first to join in, Nestfully. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they just launched today. The news release went out. It's a new industry initiative built for consumers, powered by brokers and MLSs. And so it's a public portal, but it's by MLSs and brokers for the market. So it was launched by Bright MLS and CRMLS and RE Colorado. Miami is on board and will be the next market to be added very soon. And when I put that project before the corporate board, there were a few questions, but then it was like the fastest approval of almost anything I've seen, along with great testimonials on this is exactly what they've been looking for, to be able to put brokers back in control of the market and the listings. So it's launched today. It was built on a system that's been tested for several years in Bright MLS, and they have some great statistics on business they have delivered back to their members. So Miami will be next, and you guys will hear about it as soon as we're ready for Miami's listings to appear on there, but it will be very soon.
Yeah, I mean, the involvement with the NAR reach is huge, because I think what it represents is that Miami is always first. Like, for our company, you're the first association that we worked with. You know, you found us, you mentored us, you brought us, and now we get to go worldwide with the National Association of Realtors. And I know we're not the only tech company that's done that, right? Like your team is always on the lookout for like, what's the latest and greatest technology to bring to our members, and then you bring it first, and then it ends up going everywhere else. Other associations adopt as well. So
We do. It's one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, it's super cool, and we're honored to be a part of it. So that's great.
And we love you guys.
Thanks.
That's what I find. It's fascinating. The pace of adoption, the pace of new technologies, it's mind-boggling. So how do you make a decision? How do you decide what are the best partnerships, the next alliances? How do you choose that?
Well, fortunately, like I say, we have Liz Durock, and she's an incredible resource for all things technology. And so she brings all of her experience to the Miami Association, and then all of the things she's done for us and with us in the past 4 years. So when somebody comes to us with a new product or service, it generally goes to Liz first for her to take a look at. Depending on what the product or service is, there are 2 or 3 other people that I might have involved. If it's commercial, it goes to Liz, and then it goes to my chief of commercial, and they vet it, take a look at it, and determine whether we think it's of interest, and then we move on from there. And once we decide it's something we want, we negotiate with the company. Once we reach agreement, then it's up to our chief legal counsel to get all the terms and conditions put together. While she's doing that, we're working with the company on any tweaks, any adjustments that would work better for our market. And generally, if it works better for our market, it will work better for other markets as well. And then we also try and figure out what other products and services do we have that we can connect this to, because it's so much easier when the members can just go, you know, I'm in here, so now I'm in Matrix, so now I can just click on this service and it will open this listing in that other service. So we've got that for I don't know how many of the products and services that we have, but we try and do that kind of connection. By the same token, when our trainers train, they have some that they do with a topic, which may include 4 or 5 products or services, that does a CMA or that does a, you know, whatever it is that they're training on. Sometimes even in a simple MLS class, they'll get to a certain point and then they'll say, did you ever wonder how you could get a floor plan on that condo or see what the view is? And everybody goes, yes. So they click out to my condo plans, and up comes that particular property and gives them all that information, including where the homeowners association, what the homeowners association contact is. So we from the very first stage of seeing if there's anything that we can do to help you not remake, just enhance your product to where we can integrate it, to where we can connect it to how we build it into our training. So you guys will often do training for us, but we also want our trainers to be able to integrate it into other things, because they may not sign up for your class, but they've signed up for this one, and then they learn about RealGrader. And so that's part of the secret of success to what we have as well. If we contract for a service and nobody knows about it and they don't use it, that does us no good at all. It does them no good. And so we're constantly looking for new ways to engage the members in it, because once we do, they love it.
And I can vouch for that. I mean, the engagement is at such a high level. Like,
It is.
every single day we have Miami Association members going in and claiming their digital cards. And I mean, we have other partnerships worldwide, but nothing like Miami Association. The volume of engagement is amazing.
I'm so glad. That's the way we plan it.
So let's talk a little bit about the Miami community. As
Yes.
a community, what would you say, what's the power in that, or what about the power of community? Because really, I think that's the secret of everything. Like, we are a community. It feels very different when you're in Miami.
It does. And I think part of the reason for that is because Miami is the most international city in the entire United States. We have more foreign-born residents here than anywhere else. There are some articles written that says Miami is the look of the city of the future. And all I can say is, if that's right, then the rest of the US has a lot of wonderful things in store for them, because the engagement, the excitement, the involvement of people here in Miami is just so cool. And it's unexpected. So we moved from Missouri, right?
Yeah.
And I used to think Missouri was the friendliest place in the world. And then I learned after we got here, and there's more hugging and kissing that goes on at Realtor Association events here than in family reunions back home. You know, back home, a family reunion, hi, I'm happy to see you there. You know, I don't necessarily want you in my space. Here it's my husband, the first couple of times he was kissed by a guy, he was just, you know, a little not used to it. But it's that huggy, kissy, you know, your family kind of thing. That's amazing. There are people, including one of our upcoming state presidents. She's been to several of our big events, our Rock the Market, you know, where we had 1,600 people, our inaugural, where we've had, you know, 1,300 people. And she says, I don't understand how, but I'm amazed at how connected everybody seems to be to the organization and to each other. It's like, you know, it's almost like an extended family, and that's really very unusual. And yet that's the opportunity that we have here. I'm going to credit the International for that, because I don't think us, you know, born in Missouri or somewhere else, would have found that if it weren't for, you know, this vibrant, amazing, you know, environment that we have here. So the other thing is, within the membership, it's amazing, because, you know, it has to be one of the most competitive industries out there. And I'm not saying that everybody is excited about everybody else in the industry, but so many members reach out to assist, to inform others, to help them pull the deal through, to help others and really lift the entire industry here locally. And that's really exciting. I think we need to do more pay it forward, but I see quite a bit of that. And it seems to come much more naturally here than anywhere else that I've seen. Others outside our organization are surprised at, like the future Florida president, at how large we are. And even in these huge events, you feel that connection and that sense of community, sense of family, sense of friends. Not to mention that they're there to have fun. And so, that's always a good thing. But even with our leadership, we have a very unusual leadership. We don't do committees, but we have 6 leadership boards, and each leadership board has 20 people, elected leaders on it. So we have over 110 elected leaders in our association. And most of the other associations I know think we're crazy, because how can you get anything done with 110 elected leaders serving on 6 different boards? And how do they get along? Do they fight? Is there competition at these meetings? And the answer is no. They work together. And this is almost all, it took a couple of years to kind of get them more in this mode after I came here. But for most of the 30 years, it has been this way. And they genuinely come in to figure out how to make the industry better, how to make the association even better, how to provide more for the members, how to do more for consumers. And I'm the only one that has more than one president and president-elect. So I have 6. And the other associations think I'm crazy. How do you have 12 serving as either president or president-elect with those egos? But you know what? They're the top leadership team. So yes, they've got each of their boards, and each of their boards focus on their own constituency. For example, commercial focuses entirely on our 1,600 commercial members and what are their needs and what are their products and services they need. And so we've got that, but even with egos that generally exist with presidents and elects, they work cohesively as a team. And it's like, people just can't even imagine. They're all at Great American Realtor Days in Tallahassee right now. And in recent years, they've grown that participation. We have 51 crazy Miami and South Broward or Broward people in Tallahassee right now, visiting legislators and doing their work at the Capitol. And they're there for all day today and all day tomorrow. And they work together incredibly well. So sense of community in our industry, it may not be great in other places, but it's absolutely the best here in Miami.
I was going to say, I was at the last Rock the Market. I think one of the things that helps the community is the cortadito.
Absolutely.
I was there.
When we do board or committee meetings, one of the staff will often go in, and we have these great little Miami cafecito cups branded. And there's almost, standing ovation in the room when they come in with those little cups and cortaditos.
What a difference it makes. You make instant friends.
Yeah,
And we actually, when we just exhibited at MIPIM in Cannes for our 10th or 11th year in a row, promoting Miami and commercial investment in the marketplace. And we started a new thing last year, which was Miami 305 cafecito time.
Yeah, it's unbeatable.
It is.
Unbeatable.
But that, listening to you talk about 110 leaders, right? And then 6 president-elects. And, I look at our own company and I'm like, wow, what would it look like to have 110 leaders? but then I was thinking, I'm looking at myself as a CEO, and you have to be the space for that to show up. So, it speaks volumes to you that you have 110 leaders that work well together, that, take decisive action. It's because you're leading this organization that way, right? It's a space for innovation. It's a space for generosity. It's a space for people working together. So, as a CEO, I know how that works. So, you're really holding this giant space for Miami and the world and all these leaders to show up.
Culture comes to mind. Miami Realtors has an amazing culture. And it did not take long to grow it after I came here. And just taking advantage of who and what Miami is and the leaders to be able to build that has really, really been amazing. And it's worked so well.
That's actually great. If you wouldn't mind sharing with us a bit of, not necessarily, let's say, the secret, but on leadership, how do you get to be a leader of that caliber?
So one of the things that's very important to us and to all of the executives on staff at Miami Realtors is we grow leaders. And so we don't choose leaders, but we have people who reach out to us and say, you know, I'd like to serve on the residential board or the commercial board. How do I go about doing that? So we'll give them suggestions on how to position themselves to be seen and to be able to be considered for those boards. We have people who are serving on the boards and say, how can I do better? How can I participate more? And so we'll coach them on what they need to do. One of the things that we say at the first board meeting, and our boards only meet quarterly, by the way, we have a 2.5-day planning session before the year starts, but then they only meet 4 times a year. So it's really focused meetings and they get a lot of stuff done. But we tell them at the first meeting that when we go into nominating, and yes, I have 6 nominating committees. When we go into nominating, the first question when they're looking at the existing board and say, who would we keep if we could keep any of them or all of them? The first question we ask is, if you wouldn't recognize their voice, then they're probably not a candidate to keep on the board. So the deal is that we have had people who love serving on the board, all the information, all of the resources, you know, I love it. It's amazing. And I said, and I appreciate that. But what they need from you and we need from you is you have to participate also, you know, so you have to add value, your own value, you know, to the meetings. One of the things I'm still looking for a great coach on public speaking. And it's one of the things that our members are really looking for. And we've done a couple of things before, but it's not still what I'm looking for. But it's one of the best things I could do for our leaders and people who want to be leaders, because it opens up so many doors if you're good at public speaking. You know, you're good in sales presentations, you're good one-on-one, and you're good in any kind of environment, and that helps make you stand out. We send our presidents and presidents-elects to the state spokesperson training, which is more designed about media, but it's also good for regular speaker training. And so we pay for them to go to that. And if they want to go to it the year as president-elect and again as president, that's fine with me, because it makes them better leaders. And so there are just so many things that we do to help them to grow. And one of them was saying very recently that he's a past president and serving in a different leadership role now. But he said he was at a condo association board meeting and they were going crazy, which I think is the normal condo association board meeting. And he said, I thought about how you handled something at one of our meetings and I tried it and it worked. And so sometimes it's setting the example. Sometimes it's what they see as to how we run the meetings and how everybody participates. And sometimes it's individual coaching, but our job is to build leaders and to help them to get to where they want to be. And I've always said that by the time they're finished serving with us, they should be ready to serve on any volunteer organization or community board anywhere, because they have great experience and they've actually been there in the middle of all of that. And what we have also is that it sounds like 110 leaders is a lot, but with 60,000 members, there are a lot of people who want to be there and there isn't room for them, or they haven't been in a position to be noticed yet to be able to go there. So we tried in Broward with Danielle Claremont, who's our chief of Broward and Miami operations. We tried a new program that we call the ambassadors. And so the first year went fine. The second year went great. And then the whole thing has just gone gangbusters. And so we have like approximately 30 to 50 ambassadors for each one of our boards. They don't serve on the board, but their job is to attend events, to promote events on social media, to talk to others about events and encourage them to come, to help host and welcome and talk to people when they're at events. Their job is to be association promoters. And in the first year that they did that, there were 2 openings on the Broward board, and both of those openings mid-year went to the top ambassadors from that market. So what we've created kind of by accident is the leadership training track. So you can, if you can't step in immediately because of who you are or what you've done, then you can be an ambassador, distinguish yourself that way, apply to be on the board. And now we've got, however many, another 150, 200 people out there who are in quasi leadership positions with the association. Yay.
That is huge.
I know, and it's fun. Who knows what's going to happen. Another thing too is, one of the things in running the association is to just listen and be open to new ideas and possibilities. And so our YPN is a leadership board. It's the only one that I know of in the country where the YPN board is on the same level as the commercial board, the residential board, the others. And they do an amazing job. And they've taken on a whole lot of developing training courses and presenting them. And we just launched our first ever global YPN and did our first global YPN Congress in Dubai. And it was a full room of international people of YPNs and not so YPNs, in the audience. And it was just absolutely amazing. So the exec with the YPNs came up with this, thing with the Miami Open. And he pitched using the Miami Open as one of our PAC major investor events. And because we're always needing more money for our PAC and contributions for candidates and all. And anyway, they said it was really too short a notice, and it was on a Wednesday. And so he said to me, can I still do it for the YPNs? Well, the first thought would be no, because of all the reasons they mentioned before, but why not? What would hurt to let him try that? And I said, sure, of course, go for it. They were hoping to get 100 people. Do you know how many they had? Over 1,000. We have never had over 1,000 at a sports event. And we were the biggest Wednesday crowd they've ever had. And the by far biggest crowd brought in by any one organization. And, you just got to go. It's fun.
Yes.
You just have to lean into it. And, sometimes they'll come up with an idea and I'll say, what if you did this? And off they go. It's amazing. We never get bored.
I follow that. I followed that on social media.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
I had FOMO. I wanted to be there.
Well, they'll do another one next year.
And the Dubai trip too. That looked like it's amazing.
It was absolutely amazing. And they have put us up front and center in it's International Property Show and Conference. And they had us last year, our first year attending, either speaking on panels or introducing or emceeing almost everything that they did. And that was our first time attending there. So they're really, really good partners for us.
Definitely. So Teresa, share with us, we always love to hear from an individual perspective, what are the principles? What do you guide yourself by? What principles do you live by?
I think the things that are most important to me, as a foundation are truth and fairness and honesty and integrity. And those as a basis, and then focus on the positive. I try not to spend time around negative people. When we have someone who is negative on staff, and it kind of drags everybody down. So I usually help them to move on. And help them to find another job somewhere else where they can be negative. But those things are really important to me. And I think you've already identified from the way we've been talking that my motto is kind of ready, fire, aim, and make things happen. And course correct if we need to. But it was years ago when the association was so used to being methodical and planned, they couldn't even do a seminar, a new seminar, unless they filled out a form saying what its market was, what its audience was, what its objective was, and why it needed to be done. And that was the first thing to go, clearly. But to go from that to just, saying to them on products and services, I think I have a really good idea of what you like and what you don't like. And what if we just do things that make sense to us? And I think I've already said it. We think the members will vote with their feet or their fingers and take advantage. We can afford to do it. And there are no red flags. That's the one additional one. There are only a couple I've had to take to them for red flags. And in each case, they turn them down. But all of the others, it's an environment they love. And they give us free rein to be mildly crazy and creative.
For sure.
So,
Sure.
don't get bogged down. And sometimes we tend to spend too much time on a project. And I used to do that a lot, being a perfectionist, and I had to get over that because we're doing too much to do that. And so what I try and do with myself and with others is you give each product only what it's worth. What's its shelf life? What's its audience? How important is its purpose? And then what you do is you get it out there, and then the next time, make it better. Each time you touch it, you make it better, but you get it out there. And so it works really well for us.
It's beautiful because it almost seems that it's organic, but you have already all the right ingredients. You know what to look for. So you remove all that granular processes that ultimately don't mean anything until you actually see people take action. If they participate, you hear the feedback, you hear they love it, it's working, let's keep going. But on top of that, you say, now let's make it better. And next year, let's make it better, and keep going, growing. It never stops. That's one thing I'm noticing, and just never stops, never stays where it's at.
Yeah, works beautifully. But you have to have a team who understands and identifies and believes in the same kind of things. And we do, which is amazing. I used to be known really well for good negotiating. And now I have every chief executive who is an excellent negotiator. And so, it's learn by example and teach people and show them as we go along. And sometimes it's why I think we should do this instead of that. But I don't just tell them to do it. I tell them why, because then next time they'll know, and they will have already done that by the time they bring it to me.
Excellent. Before we go, we'd love to hear from you. What trends are you noticing in social media, and what's in store for 2023?
I'm not an expert on social media. That's another thing where I hire the people who do a really good job on that. Inez Hedges Garcia is incredible on social media, and she actually met with our team of, we have a design team of 4 and others, including our researcher, communication specialist, and some others. And so she met with them and gave them all of these great tips on social media, and they just ate it up. It was incredible. So then she came back recently and just met with them again. And she was really happy because she says they get it, and she's seeing a difference in the things that they're doing. So I love that. It's, the obvious. Videos are big, keep the content fresh, create shareable posts. Engagement is key, but we're always tracking the ones that get more engagement, the ones that have created more attention, to figure out why that, not this, and how do we do that. But I'm not your social media expert.
No problem.
I think the beauty from what I see, because Miami is very gets a lot of exposure on social media. It's that you have all this leadership, right? 110 leaders plus all these brand ambassadors. These are raving fans that are continually sharing about the Miami Association of Realtors, events they're at. I mean, that's the key. So you said it, shareable content. And I mean, because you have all these people involved, they're sharing the content.
So they just took that to a new level last week. And one of my execs came up with a brilliant idea. And so we had our IT team create a landing page where everybody could go in and post their photos and videos from our events. And so the first time they tried it, we do a Miami River cruise, we do a Broward River cruise, and they sell out. And so the Miami one sold out so fast, they scheduled a second one. So we just did the second one, and they sent out the morning of, I think, this link and said, be sure to take photos and videos and post them here. And we got over 100 photos and videos from that one. And so now we're doing the Great American Realtor Days in Tallahassee. So a reminder went out to everybody again. And so I can't wait to see what they're coming up with on this. But I love what you said, brand ambassadors. We just call them ambassadors, but Alex, you're so right. They are brand ambassadors. But I love the new share the photos and the videos and everything. I think that's going to be amazing. But see, we never know what anybody's going to come up with, but in our organization, everybody is tasked with being creative and figuring out new ways to do things, and ways to save time, save money, make money, serve the members better, get more visibility, anything. It's this whole arena. And so even surprisingly, some of the newest member services staff that we hire, when we do this big campaign once a year, they can do it all year long, but we do a big campaign at year end when they're getting their bonuses for them to give us ideas. And we actually implement 30 to 40% of them right on the spot. They're that good.
Yeah, solid. Teresa, thank
I
you so
love
much.
what I do.
Oh, we can tell. And please join us again in the future. I'm sure it's going to be a whole different level of how things have progressed, especially like right now with all this technology being developed that is blowing up right now.
Yeah.
And with all the new developments, all the new projects, we have to stay in touch with you. We have to stay connected, allow more agents to find out about this and join this, craziness, this cortadito, and this leadership. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Well, next time we see you, we'll have to make sure you get your Miami Cafecito cups.
Perfect. Yes.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys, for inviting me on. It's been a pleasure. And I know I'm going to be seeing you at our next big events.
Absolutely.